Call to order the Sparks Special City Council meeting for August 25th, 2023 with a roll call, please.
Mayor Lawson.
Here.
Council members Abbott.
Here.
Vanderwell.
Here.
Anderson.
Here.
Bybee.
Here.
Dare.
Here.
City Attorney Duncan.
Here.
Assistant City Manager Martini.
Here.
We have a quorum, thank you.
Okay, Ms. Bybee, will you lead us in the pledge?
I'd be happy to, Mr. Mayor. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. We'll move into public comment, and we'll start with Ms. Andrea Pelto, followed by Tom Green.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, City Council, and City Attorney Duncan. So, as you know, I'm Andrea Belto, Chair of the Sparks Senior Advisory Committee. I think Donald and Christopher already know, but I wanted to let the rest of the council know that hot off the press is the new Elder Services Guide. So it's a pocket version of all the other guides that have come out by the senators. So I'm going to leave a stack with Lisa. And, if you guys would share them around, and if you need more, we've got cases of them. And I think every one of you know how to get a hold of me if you should need more. So I also just wanted to say that I'm against giving the city manager $600,000 because I know what $600,000 could do for our local seniors. And I would rather, see that money spent for a better reason. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrea. Tom Green, followed by Mike Clark.
No buttons pushed, correct? I'm live? Okay, thank you. My name is Tom Green for the record, and I've come before you guys and commented before. I'm gonna start off on a really positive note. I want to thank the city of Sparks and your guys' vision and leadership with this homeless issue. I don't know who spearheaded it up here. I don't know if it was Mr. Duncan or whoever, but together as a collective, you guys are setting the bar. And quality of life issues in this county are troubling to me. And after 26 and a half years in law enforcement, I see things that I don't like. But yet the city of Sparks and the Sparks Police Department with Chief Crawforth continue to set the bar, and what you guys are doing with this homeless situation is good, good, good. So thank you very, very much. The next part of my comment is not as positive, and I'm not a gloater, and I'm not somebody that's going to come up here and try to rub somebody's face in something. However, I just want to say that I came before you guys, and I think he was sitting about where Mr. Martini is, and I looked Mr. Kreutz dead in the eye, and I said that it's time for him to leave. He needs to go. He needs to be terminated. And it's a tough thing. I mean, he's been with the city of Sparks for a long, long time. I get that. And I've had to terminate people at the sheriff's office that were longtime coworkers and people I considered friends, and it's never an easy task. But sometimes it requires a fortitude, and it becomes more difficult when it's embroiled in politics. And that's the time that true leadership needs to stand out and be willing to take that hard decision. And I feel like now we had an opportunity to possibly, and I'm not an attorney, I'm not privy to your guys' internal dialogue, but it feels like we had a chance to terminate with cause, and we might have to write a big fat check today. And there's some big fat checks that are gonna be coming for the city of Sparks. And it concerns me. I've lived here since I was a little kid. I went to school here in Sparks at Florence Drake, and I graduated from Reed High School. I've lived here since the 70s. And I love this town. It's a wonderful little town. And so that concerns me, that what the money that this might cost us. And I think there was clear and convincing evidence at that time that that Neil sullied somebody's reputation in a public forum that hadn't even been arrested yet. And again, in my years of law enforcement, I've never seen anything like that before. I've never heard of a public entity giving a public statement about somebody's impending arrest when it hasn't occurred yet, especially when it wasn't even that agency. So So this is a somber moment, I get it. I'm totally opposed to writing him a big fat check, but it sounds like it's what's gonna happen today. And I hope that everyone who voted to retain him reflects on that. And again, I wanna thank the city for what they're doing with the homeless again, just one more time, so thank you.
Thank you. Mike Clark, followed by William Seward.
Good afternoon, Mayor, council members. Mike Clark. I'm here as a private citizen. Just want to salute the city of Sparks for allowing open public comment at the start of the meetings. It's a little bit freer in this part of the world. Have to come east to find a community to let people speak freely at the beginning of the meeting. You know, sometimes you have to, as an elected official, you have to listen to everyone. You may not like their opinions, but I think you can learn something from everyone. Just because you don't like somebody, they still might have something that you can glean from their comments. So thanks for hearing folks here in Sparks. It's appreciated. Wish we could do that in my jurisdiction, but we can't at this point in time. Secondly, I want to talk about something I've been doing for the last several months. It's biking on the river. I start in the city of Sparks. Everyone's invited. We start at Cottonwood Park, 9 o'clock on Sunday morning. It's a nice leisurely ride along the river. We ride into Hub in downtown Reno, have a cup of coffee, turn around, and come back. And we're not riding like this is the Tour de France. We're not, riding as fast as we can. Most of the river is shaded. A lot of folks have been worried about riding down there by themselves. So if we go as a group, people get a chance to enjoy the beautiful jewel of a river that we are so fortunate to have in our county. So in the past, we've had Tom Green providing security and medical aid along the way. He brought a backpack. I think it had a defibrillator, stitching materials, gloves, masks, just all kinds of stuff. I said, we're just going for a bike ride. We're not taking a covered wagon across the country, but Tom was prepared. So it was nice to have him along, and I'm trying to convince him to ride on Sunday. But everyone's invited to go along. It's a nice pace, and it's an opportunity for people to enjoy the river. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, William Stewart, followed by Dan Hamlin.
Good afternoon, William T. Stewart for the record, elected officials. I too want to echo Commissioner Clark's First Amendment advice to have public comment at the beginning of the meeting, so thank you for that. And I also want to thank you all for serving. I know public office is not for the faint of heart, and I thank you all for doing your best. But that being said, I want to read a couple of things that I did back in May, so far as the code of ethics that you all have agreed to. Serve the best interests of the people, number 4. Number 9, quality and image of public service. Number 12, public office is a public trust. I think the trust has been broken, and one of the things that people that are involved in any city or any government wants to make sure that the people that are elected are doing their best to provide for the citizens, and that I don't think is being done. The city manager has made some decisions that have affected the city in a financial issue that's going to have ripple effects. And if we're going to send him a check with $600,000, I don't believe that that's the best way to do things. Under his contract, it states that for non-renewal, if the manager or if the initial performance review, city council does not renew manager's contract, manager shall receive the following non-renewal package: 6 months base salary. I think that's more than enough. It's generous, as well as his personal leave and medical leave and PTO and all the rest of the stuff that everybody gets. So I would like to see that if that is the case and he is terminated, that be invoked. I'm not sure what other clauses are in the contract, but that's what I could find. Yeah, and then just public trust. Let's continue to build Sparks the way it needs to be built and have good people looking out for the best interests of our city, our citizens, and most importantly, our financial responsibility. So I thank you for your time. I appreciate your due diligence in this matter, and let's figure out what we can do to build on it and make sure it doesn't happen again. Thank you for your time. God bless.
Thank you. Dan Hamlin.
Thank you, council members. Appreciate the time to speak. Retired from City of Sparks, Operations Maintenance Manager. Neil Kreutz was my Public Works Director and my boss. He held me accountable, and I think every one of you should hold him accountable. Document, and then terminate somebody if they're not doing their job. So when you've done his performance evaluations, doesn't look like he's been doing a good job. He needs to be held accountable. And it's up to you people to hold him accountable and not give him $600,000. Being stewards of this community and taking care of the citizens of this community, $600,000 is a lot of money to give somebody. When we fired somebody, they didn't get $600,000. They were just, you're out the door, you weren't doing your job, you didn't perform like Neil wanted you to perform. So each and every one of you, when you go home, you need to look at yourself and who you're gonna hold accountable. And then is the citizens gonna hold you accountable for what you decide today? Because they really are. They're gonna look at you and say, did you do the right decision for the city and for the people of this community? $600,000 is a lot of money. It can go to a lot of places. There's a lot more that you can do with $600,000 than give it to Neil Kreutz. He held me accountable. You need to hold him accountable. Thank you.
Mr. Hamlin. All right, that's all the cards I have. Is there anyone else in the public wishing to speak at this time? Okay, seeing none, I will bring it back to the dais and looking for an approval of the agenda. Ms. Vanderwell,
I move to approve the agenda as submitted.
Mr. Anderson.
Second.
Okay, I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries unanimously. All right, 6.1, consideration, discussion, and possible approval of amendment number 6 to the employment contract between the City of Sparks and Neil C. Kreutz, providing the mutual agreement to buy out the remaining term of Mr. Kreutz's employment contract, currently set to expire June 30th of 2025 with a payment of $600,000. Allison.
Good afternoon, Mayor Lawson and City Council members. For the record, I'm Allison McCormick here. Today, I am seeking your approval of an amendment to the employment agreement with Neil Kreutz as City Manager. The City Council initially approved the employment agreement with Mr. Kreutz in February of 2019. Since then, the agreement has been amended 5 times, and the current contract runs through June 30th of 2025. This 6th amendment to the contract would buy out the contract nearly 2 years early in exchange for $600,000, with Mr. Kreutz's last day as a city employee falling on September 30th of 2023. For context, the cost to the city of the remainder of Mr. Kreutz's contract between October 1 of 2023 and June 30th of 2025 would be approximately $803,000. That includes salary and benefits, but does not include additional paid leave that would accrue during that time period. Staff recommends approval of this amendment, and I'm available for any questions.
Okay. Any questions from the council? Okay, and I'm looking for a motion. Mr. Dare.
I move to deny the amendment number 6 to the employment contract between the City of Sparks and Neil Kreutz.
Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Mayor, if you could give us just 1 second to amend the motion so that it reflects what Councilmember.
Okay.
Deny or reject?
Reject.
Okay. Got a motion by Mr. Dare. Mr. Anderson.
I will second the motion.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries unanimously. Okay. We'll go back to public comment. Anyone in the public wishing to speak at this time? Okay. Move down to, oh. No, just fill us one out afterwards. Thank you.
William T. Stewart for the record again. Yes, thank you for allowing me to speak. So I appreciate the denial of that request. So what the next steps are, I'm not sure what that means. Does that mean that, I know these are questions you may not be able to answer, but what does that mean for his tenure here? That's obviously everybody's topic of mind. So I think the sooner that gets resolved, the sooner we can move forward, and that $600,000 can go towards parks, police, fire, roads, everything else that was going to be written. So thank you, and hopefully that information will get out to the public, whether it's on the website or the new app or whatever, what may be. I mean, communication's key. Everybody wants to know how their government dollars are being spent, and whatever you can do to expedite that would be much appreciated. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else in the public wishing to speak at this time? Okay, we'll bring it back to the dais. Madam Clerk, I'd like you to put on a item for the next special council, or whichever's first, a special council meeting or regular scheduled council meeting for the termination of Mr. Kreutz's contract. Okay, any other comments from the dais? Okay, we're adjourned.